So are you ready for the top 5 movies of 2018?
As ready as I'm ever gonna be.
Yes. I hear you, man. Well, yeah, this was an interesting year in movies. Not a whole lot of great ones, I have to say.
No, there wasn't. Which makes it more difficult
Hmm.
because any one of these could be number one because it was such a mediocre year.
Hmm.
Even the blockbusters,
Right,
the ones that made billions of dollars, they were just okay movies.
right. Yeah, we've been kind of in these last couple years, um, and this is pre-COVID, by the way, so they can't use that as an excuse.
Yeah, so
But
well, I know, but it's like the number one blockbuster,
Mhm.
made $2 billion.
Right, yeah,
Now they're good. Now with COVID, they went into fasting.
right, yeah. Well, I think I went first last time, so you want to go first this time?
All right, first,
All right.
uh, my number five uh, was one of those blockbusters. Didn't do billions,
Hmm.
but it did 786 million. Black Panther.
Ah, good pick. Yeah.
Yeah, this was the Black Panther was first introduced into an Avenger movie, which was actually Captain America: Civil War,
Hmm.
and that's when the Avengers split up and stuff like that. But his father uh, was killed in the bombing
Hmm.
that like started this whole thing off.
Right.
Uh, but it goes into detail about it. So now he takes over as king for his father.
Hmm.
And then it gives like some other backstories with it. But it's basically this meteor,
Hmm.
uh, I guess centuries ago, crashed into Africa. And they could extract this metal from it called vibranium.
Yeah.
And they used this metal for everything. So they built their cities out of vibranium.
The
They had,
fictional Wakanda. Yes.
yeah, Wakanda, right,
Hmm.
is the name of the village. So they pretend they're like a third world country,
Hmm.
and they hide all their. I mean, they even have advanced medicine
Right.
that that the world has never seen. And
Hmm.
they're hiding all this and not sharing it with the new world. So basically, part of the story is him taking over as king. Then there's a debate whether they should bring this to the rest of the world or not.
Right. Yeah, it's I actually saw this one. So
Did you
I
really?
yeah,
Yeah, it was probably one of the better adventure movies.
yeah, I would say so. I thought it was really well done. Of course, Chadwick Boseman is great in the title role.
Yeah, it was
Sad that
even nominated for an Academy Award.
yeah, that's true.
Which was one of the first. It was first Avenger movie ever
Mhm.
to get that distinction.
Yeah, and pretty much at this point, like a who's who of black actors. Michael B. Jordan as the villain, he was great.
Yeah,
Lupita Nyong'o, Daniel Kaluuya, um, even Forrest Whitaker, who was really cool in the movie. Angela Bassett, and of course, they introduced some characters from some of the other Marvel movies, like Martin Freeman and. But yeah, it was. Really well done. Didn't make my list, but as far as the Marvel movies goes, I would say one of the better ones of the standalone films because it was really interesting, like the
Yeah,
whole Wakanda thing, and I felt like the villain had like a good reason for his actions, which sometimes is not the case, you know. So yeah, really cool.
yeah, and also they find this strange plant that's growing there, this blue plant. And so
Mm-hmm.
when they made an herb out of it, it interacted somehow with the vibranium,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where they got their superpowers from.
Yeah, right. So good pick. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my number five is of course the opposite of one of those, but it's a cool movie, The Old Man and the Gun.
Ah, yes.
Robert Redford. The title kind of says it all. It's Redford kind of in his elder years doing what made him a star in the first place, robbing banks. And it's a really fun movie, and but also has some depth to it. To I still to this day say stand firm on this. I think Redford gets better as an actor with age. Um, you know, I picked that other movie, I think in 2017, that was a drama with him and Jane Fonda. This time it's him and Sissy Spacek, and she doesn't know he's a bank robber, of course, and they're just kind of casually dating. And then Casey Affleck plays the cop who's chasing this guy, and they make him like just on the verge of being like an inept cop, which makes it kind of funny. But also it shows that Redford, you know, is still very good at his craft. And Danny Glover is in the movie as well, as kind of his somewhat of a helper. Playing another one of these guys who's been around the block. But yeah, I just thought it was a really fun movie. And uh, did you see this one or?
Uh, I'm not sure. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you would like it.
It
I
was on
mean,
my list to see.
yeah, yeah. I think you would dig it. I mean, it's not like one of the greatest ever, but for what it is, it's a really fun watch. So it just barely made my list.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like the one that was on last year uh, with the Star Wars guy. Star
S-
Wars, Star Trek guy.
Star Trek guy.
Yeah,
Which
where him and his brother robbing banks.
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, there's a few of those. There's also the one that came out a couple years ago, Going in Style with
yeah,
yeah, exactly, Morgan Freeman and
yeah.
Alan Arkin. But yeah, this was a good one. So what's your number four?
My number four is Mission Impossible Fallout.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I thought you would probably have this one.
Yeah, this one, I think I've talked about this one before. I mean, the ending alone with the helicopters.
Yeah, there's some crazy stunts in this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot going on in this movie. It's, you know, the CIA is involved in this. The Mission Impossible Force is involved in this. There's a middleman syndicate involved in this. You
Right.
know, there's the bad guys, you know, the apostles involved in this. And they're all after this plutonium.
Yes. And
And, you know, then the CIA is out after, you know, Hunt, you know, so now he becomes a bad guy because the American government is out like trying to get him now and stuff like that.
right, right. Oh yeah, and this is the one
Where his wife is,
Superman has a really good fight scene in the movie. Henry
yeah,
Cavill. Yeah. That was cool in the bathroom. Is this the one where Tom Cruise is like on the outside of a plane as it's taking off also? Or am I thinking of a different one? I
no, that's a different one.
okay.
He is in a plane on this one that he
Yeah.
parachutes out of.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. There's always a plane.
I get them mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is probably uh, one of the best ones.
Yeah.
At least the ones that came out so far.
Right.
I mean, this is like action packed from beginning to the end. It
And that's what
started
you
out,
want in one of these. Yeah.
it started out where they were getting the plutonium. They were doing a buy for it, and then that went south, and now they had to try to get the plutonium back.
Yeah. Right. Do you like Mission Impossible more than James Bond as a franchise, or are
Yeah,
they about the
they're
same?
like different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're both spy movies.
Hmm.
One's American, one's British. Uh, but this is like a secret part of, you know, uh, the American side where, James Bond was, MI6.
Hmm.
So I guess that was, another branch of the Secret Service, for Britain.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it had some things in common.
Right.
Uh, they both have toys,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they are similar, but I guess Bond kind of, but just for the longevity probably
yeah.
takes it.
I think
But
the Mission Impossible ones are more sensational
mhm.
because they do more whacked out things.
Yeah, they're always trying to top themselves with the stunts.
They wear, fake masks,
Hmm.
like taking over other personalities.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
the action scenes are probably better, at least in, the new Impossible. If you compare James Bond to the old TV series, I think it would be more on even par. But I
Yeah.
think the movies are better than the James Bond movies.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering if you would think that. So all right, cool. Well, my number 4, you're gonna hate it, is a Wes Anderson movie, Isle of Dogs. This is one of his couple of animated movies. Uh, his second one after Fantastic Mr. Fox, which was also very good. But this one is about dogs. You probably have not seen it,
No,
but
I have not.
it's a cute movie. It's actually a little dark for if you would consider it a kids movie. I think his animated movies are really more for adults, but um it's set in Japan, and the leader of Japan decides he doesn't like dogs, so he banishes them all to this island, Trash Island, I believe it's called, blaming them for some kind of transmissible disease or something. And it's about this boy that was very close to his dog, and they have this weird device that allows you to communicate with your dogs, like what it transcribes their barking into actual talking. And so he sets off on this mission to find his dog on Trash Island. And it's a, of course, Wes Anderson. It's a who's who cast of all the dogs that talk.
Do the
uh
dogs walk robotically?
no, but the main dog is played by Bryan Cranston, and he's great, of course. Scarlett Johansson plays one of them, and I can't remember who. Oh, Bill Murray, of course, is one of them. But so it's like this adventure movie, and they have to take on the government as well. Frances McDormand plays a reporter. There's all kind. I think even Yoko Ono is one of the voices of this movie, and there's a lot of twists and turns, but it's really fun. And there's this recurring song in the movie. I can't remember who it's by, but of course it's like this weird 60s deep cut that I had never heard before. Um, but it gets stuck in your head. And yeah, it's just a typical Wes Anderson movie that's a lot of fun. and you'll probably never see it, but whatever.
Probably not.
All right, cool. So what's your number three?
All right, my number three is the big money winner,
Uh-huh.
Avengers: Infinity War.
Of course.
And this, of course, was the $2 billion movie.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's in this movie.
Right. Black Panther, as you mentioned.
Black Panther is in it. The regular Avengers are in it. What are they? The
The
protectors of
galaxy of the
Guardians of the
galaxy.
Galaxy
Yeah, yeah.
are in it. And it all has to do with the previous movie,
Right.
and and it's based on the Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm.
So Ultron, who was in the previous Avenger movie,
Mm-hmm.
they thought they stopped him. And now he's out trying to get all the stones. The last two stones are in Earth.
Yeah.
He already destroyed Thor's home planet and all the other planets.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is, once he gets all those Infinity Stones, then he can just snap his finger and half the people in the universe die.
Right.
So everybody is
That's
trying to
not
get
good.
together to stop him from doing that.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. Doesn't one of not to give away spoilers, but doesn't a very big character die in this movie?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this was the one.
Loki dies right in the beginning.
Ah, okay.
Thor's brother.
Right. All right. But yeah, one of the Avengers does also, right? Or am I wrong?
More than one.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yes.
I might
Remember,
have to see this then.
remember half.
I have not
Half of the
seen it.
people in the universe.
Wow.
That includes the alien, the people on other planets, the aliens on the other planets.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty heavy, man.
Yeah, because there's too many people, overpopulation.
Yeah, there you go. So another villain with a good purpose.
That's right. Steps up to get rid of
Yeah.
half the people. So there's a big showdown, at the where in Wakanda,
Mm-hmm.
because
Right.
that's where the last Infinity Stone is.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I remember seeing the commercial for this and everybody running at each other and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this was
So
it. This was the movie that everybody was waiting for.
right. Yes. Well, very good.
And
Okay.
I think this was like the 20th movie
Wow.
of the
Already?
Avengers series.
Man, that
that
went
includes
fast.
that includes the side movies like Black
Right.
Panther, which I think was the 19th.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this was the point where I was like, it's too much, man. Too many. But so yeah, my number three is A Star Is Born. Bradley Cooper stars and directs. This, of course, was a remake of a movie. I think it was originally came out in the 70s with
This is the fourth one.
oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I haven't seen the old ones, but I would
It's also
venture.
it's my number two.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
I figured you'd be shocked.
Yeah, I'm very shocked.
But where was I going to go after Infinity Wars?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was it was really good because they tied in the music very well with the story, and I found it really emotional.
Yeah, yeah. And the music was actually really cool too. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, in a way, it's kind of a musical movie, but
Right, you figure this is like the fourth one. So
right.
yeah, it's a remake of a remake of a remake of a remake.
Right, right. But yeah, the music I thought was really well done. Of course, they had tons of great session musicians. I think Willie Nelson's son plays in the band that is his band. But yeah, the music is kind of like good Southern rock for most of it. But then Lady Gaga's music is really good as well. The song that they did, the main theme song that they wrote together, "Shallow," went on to be like a huge hit.
Yeah, it
Uh,
won the Academy Award
right,
for Best
and
Original Song.
right, yeah, yeah, and it's a great song and a great the scene where she's coming up with the music like in a parking lot of a grocery store where they're just sitting there and she's singing the melody to him. It's a great movie in that kind of captures those creative spark moments and also the relationship. They have great chemistry in this movie.
Yeah, they
Uh,
do. And I found it amusing that she makes fun of her nose in
oh
the
yeah.
movie because she does have a big nose.
Yeah. Lady Gaga, she's pretty cool, and and obviously can make fun of herself, and it's almost like a rags to riches story as well, with her being like some waitress or whatever she was doing.
Yeah, she was a
That
waitress and then
yeah,
a part-time singer in uh, a transvestite bar.
right. Yeah. There's a lot of funny scenes like with that whole thing, and Dave Chappelle shows up in the movie, but he actually is more serious in his role
Yeah,
as one of Cooper's longtime friends. But yeah, the casting throughout the movie was great. Cooper, man, like really shows his acting chops in this movie, um, being sadly an alcoholic that
yeah. I mean, it had its sad moments too. Yeah,
yeah,
him being a drug addict and now alcoholic.
right.
You know, uh, was the bad part.
Yeah. And of course, yeah, the ending is tragic, but Sam Elliott, as his brother, was also really good. And Cooper based his voice in the movie off of his. So they both have like these deep, gravelly voices. Of course, Elliot always sounds like that, but he has a really great scene. I think he was also nominated for supporting actor.
Yeah, he was.
That scene where he drops him off and like you could just see the tears in his eyes because he
Yeah,
knows.
where he
Uh,
told him he was a superhero.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Great stuff, man, all around. So that's awesome that you have it as your number two. Um, I'm really astonished, but yeah, great movie. So
See, I have a heart and soul.
oh, I know. But yeah, I was just surprised you would dig the music, even though I mean this if you compare it to other musicals, I think this is one of the better ones because
Yeah,
the music is so cool. And also like he did a great job. I think he learned some guitar for the movie, but the way they film it, like they don't linger on his hands too long anyway. But
yeah.
those those
I
scenes are
mean,
really
yeah,
cool.
he was hitting like a lot of those high notes and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
right. Yeah, good stuff. So all right, so my I guess number two we got to get to now is probably not on your list, but it's on mine, not just because I was in the movie for zero point 0.5 seconds, but I really thoroughly enjoyed this movie when it came out.
Yeah, I mean, this was good.
Game Night.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams play a couple that get together with their friends and do these game nights all the time. And something goes horribly wrong with this game, this elaborate game that they thought was set up by his brother, played by Kyle. I can't remember his last name, but he's a really good actor. Um, he gets kidnapped in reality, but they don't realize that this is a real
Right, because it
kidnapping.
was supposed to be part of
Yeah,
the game night thing.
exactly. So they set off on all the different couples trying to find him. And yeah, of course, things go crazy. There's some darkness to this movie that gets a lot of laughs, like the scene with the dog getting blood all over him, and just ridiculous. And the neighbor, who is a cop, Jesse Plemons, who he's always really good at playing like a creepy guy, of course, from Breaking Bad.
Right. And that was his dog.
Right. Yes.
He's getting it
He's
on the
great.
carpet.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh my
he's trying to
God.
clean the carpet, clean the dog.
Yeah, yeah. And then of course the scene where Bateman gets shot in the arm, and then Rachel McAdams is trying to clean the wound, but she makes it even worse. Oh my God. It's there's some like nail biting scenes where the humor is just as strong as the terror. So I think they walk that line perfectly. And yeah, I've watched this a few times now, and it was great. So the wedding scene, which takes place in like a few seconds in the beginning of the movie, is where I am like right behind them dancing, but you literally can't see me. Like even if you freeze frame it, you're not sure that's my head, but I'm there. And it was a blast to be there all day long for a 20-second scene in a
I
movie.
know, you said they were supposed to give you credit for it, and
That
they didn't.
supposedly, but no, they never did. So, uh, oh well. I guess they decided to, have less shots of that and have all that go very quickly in the
The
beginning of
lawyers
the
probably
movie.
told them if they gave you credit, they'd have to pay you.
Yeah, right. Well, they did. I mean, they paid everyone as extras. I don't remember how much it was, but the very bare minimum, I believe.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you just show up in your wedding garb and do a dance. I was doing my patented forklift move, which I was hoping would stand out. But anyway, so this didn't make your list, I guess.
No, it did not.
Okay.
I mean, like there were so many uh, good movies.
Yeah. So I wonder if we'll have the same number one, because I think you like this movie as well.
Yeah, I
Uh,
did. And actually, this was one of the few times I agreed with the Academy.
okay, so we do have the same one.
Yes.
Green Book.
Green Book, right.
Yep. Great movie, man.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I obviously, uh, it was about racism,
Hmm.
but the movie wasn't just about Black racism.
Right. Yeah, because Viggo Mortensen plays an Italian American.
Right, he plays
There
an
was
Italian American. And the whole idea, the Green Book was a book, obviously, where it was safe for Black people
Mhm.
to stay in certain hotels and eat at certain places in the Deep South. It
Right.
also told them what roads they could be on
Yeah.
that were safe.
Right.
Because believe it or not, I mean, a lot of southern towns, Black people couldn't be on highways after dark.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
Yeah, it was crazy and stuff like
And to
that.
think it wasn't really that long ago that
I
this movie
know.
took place.
Yeah. Well, it was in the 60s
Right. Exactly.
because,
Yeah. Early 60s, I think.
yeah,
And so it's based on a real, but
true
this was a
story.
true story.
Yeah,
I
it
think they
was
took
nice
some
too that
liberties.
they included uh, Tony's letters,
Right. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, that he wrote to his wife while he was away for the 4 weeks. You
Yeah.
know,
That was a really
they were
funny
on the
and
trip.
cute element to the story where Shirley, Dr. Shirley, played by Mahershala Ali, he was also great in this.
Well,
But
yeah, he got the
yeah,
best
the
supporting actor.
right, yeah. I mean, they were both incredible. Vigo was great. He really
Yeah,
put on some pounds for this, but his grammar was terrible. So Shirley like helping him out writing these
yeah,
letters,
right.
and
Yeah,
then of course,
so again, it's
yeah,
like, racism, you got this, Black guy who's got 3 doctorates,
right, Yeah.
a fantastic musician. And, he speaks very high class,
Right. Yeah. It flips what.
uses, uses words over, 5 letters and sentences,
Right.
uh, and he's trying to teach, you know, his driver,
Right.
how to speak correctly.
Yeah, like it totally flips the stereotype on its head, and in a way that, they really, by the end of the movie, respect each other. And that scene where, he does show up for the dinner at the end is such an earned, uh for the audience thing, because like when you see them go their separate ways, you're like, oh man, I wish they hung out more, and then
Yeah,
so they give you that great ending. But yeah, all the supporting roles were good too. Sebastian Maniscalco plays a small role in the movie. Linda Cardellini as the wife. But yeah, all the adventures that they get into in the deep south, some very terrifying. And then on top of it, like the whole, like there's different layers to this, where Ali's character is not just black in the deep south, but he's also a gay black man in the deep south. So it's like that scene where he gets out of the car and is like, what am I supposed to do, like that's like, yeah, that's Academy Award winning
yeah,
stuff all over it. But yeah, I agree, like this is one of the few times the Academy got it right. And amazing that the director of this movie, one of the Farrelly brothers, who also directed Dumb and Dumber and Something About Mary and all these wacky comedies. But this was, it had a lot of comedy in it. And it got a lot of, a lot of woke people, or whatever they call themselves, were saying like that this movie had like all this racist stuff about it, like the fried chicken thing. I thought that scene was hilarious, and like
yeah,
also flipped the stereotype. So whatever, I think this is a great movie that uh depicts racism in a way that
yeah,
it should be, that like we're all
right.
the same.
Yeah,
So
and the same thing when, uh, you know, uh, Tony was in the bar
mhm,
and he was in the black bar. He was the only white guy in the bar,
right.
right? And the black bartender says to him, she goes, "Are you a cop?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Do I look Irish?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a lot of great comedy in the movie, man. I love it. So
Yeah, so
yeah.
it was showing racism as a whole, and
Hmm.
yet they pushed it more on the black side because obviously he was going through the South and stuff. But
Right.
it was about, to me, it was about racism as a whole.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
I
and
mean,
it's a
even the part where you know I can't remember why they stopped the car. But there was all these black people. They were down south. They were
Mhm.
working in the fields,
Right.
toiling really, and they
Yeah,
see this white guy who's driving
driving.
this black guy in a
Yeah, who's all
car,
dressed up.
and he
Yeah.
and he gets up and he gets out of the car and he's looking at those people,
Yeah, and there's nothing said in that scene, but his
right?
face
And
is,
the
it's
black people are looking black at him, and they're
yeah,
probably going, "What the hell?"
yeah, exactly.
You know,
So yeah, it hits on all the angles, and it's really really well done. So really cool. Okay, so this is actually going to be an easy one to put together of our list here, because we have two in common for the first time in a long time, and both at the top of our list here. So Green Book is obviously the number one. A Star is Born is obviously the number two.
too.
uh Three would be Game Night, because that was my two. And then four would be Avengers Infinity War, because that was your three. So now it's between Mission Impossible Fallout and Isle of Dogs. This is going to be very interesting.
Mission Impossible is 3.9.
Okay, let me look up Isle of Dogs real quick then. I'll be surprised if whoop, I wrote Isle if dogs. Okay, they're both a 3.9.
Is there a fraction? Because sometimes it's 3.9 something.
Oh my God. No, there's no fraction. So now we need to go to IMDb for the tiebreaker. Let's see. Isle of Dogs. I haven't been on IMDb in forever. On here, it has a 7.8. Okay, and hold on. Mission Impossible Fallout. This is taking a second. You got to do the music from that game show. Do 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 do.
Do, 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 do.
7.7. So wait, did I win? Yes, by a 0.1. Wes Anderson strikes again, baby. Yes. Haha. Well, that's actually a good mix then, because you got one of your big franchise billion-dollar movies,
Yeah.
but I got a Wes Anderson movie in there. So what was your honorable mention?
My honorable mention was Solo, a Star Wars story.
Ah, okay.
I,
Yeah, I didn't care for that one,
yeah, the
honestly.
thing was, it was because it tied everything into the movie. Into the first Star Wars movie, Star Wars 4, A
Right,
New Hope, because it showed how Han met Chewbacca. It
right.
told him how he won the Millennium Falcon from Loren
Lando. Yeah,
right? Uh, and it told the story on how he made the Kessel Run in just a little bit over 12 parts.
part 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So that's why I liked it, because
Okay.
everything that I wanted to know about Solo, they did in this movie.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's true, but I just for some reason I just found it boring. But and maybe that's because the actor was no Harrison Ford, but
Well, yeah, I mean,
you know,
and it was only going to be 10 years before uh,
mhm,
uh, A New Hope started.
right. So
Because,
they couldn't de-age Harrison Ford enough to do that. But
yeah,
yeah,
I guess not. He's a little too old for that.
yeah.
But yeah, so, so this takes place. So it ends
Hmm.
where they're going to Tatooine to work for Jabba.
Right. Yeah.
So it's then now there's a 10-year gap. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's why I like the movie, because it just was a story that was missing from the Star Wars saga, and
Yeah.
it got filled in, and it was good the way that they did it.
Yeah. And Donald Glover as Lando was really good, I have to say.
Yeah,
So but okay.
yeah.
So
Lando was in it. You know, you had that side thing going on with Woody Harrelson.
oh right. Yeah. 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 Woody's always good.
Yeah,
So yeah, so my honorable mention is a documentary, The Zen Diaries of Gary Shandling, which I almost put that as my number 5 because man, it was way better than I expected, because I was never like a huge fan of Gary Shandling, but apparently every comedian that knew him loved the guy, because he was just like one of those Zen guys that always had good advice and was helpful to other people in the comedy community, and he had a really interesting story. So it's a little long, but it's worth watching if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't seen
Judd Apatow directed it, and he's actually now Apatow is working on a George Carlin documentary, so that should be interesting. But yeah, I highly recommend it. And yeah, so that is it. So now our top 5 favorite movies of 2018. At number 5, Isle of Dogs. At number 4, Avengers Infinity War. At number 3, Game Night. At number 2, A Star is Born. And at number 1, Green Book. Yeah.
it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, now that I guess movies are getting notably worse in the last few years, we might have more in common in the next few episodes than we might think.
Well, yeah, I mean, 2021 would probably be the worst year for movies.
Maybe so. Yeah. I mean, it was not very strong. There
Well,
was a
they
couple.
were holding back all the big guns,
Right.
till after COVID was over.
That's true. Yeah. There's I'll be interested to see what you have at that point. That might be the one where we finally do this live and in person if the timing works out.
Yeah,
But so that'll be cool. But in the meantime, look forward to 2019, the next episode, and we will see you there. All right, love you.
love you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.